We are diving headfirst into this new Transformers slash G.I. Joe universe. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about comic books and stuff. And this is Scarlet, the 2024 run about her infiltration of the Arashikage clan to save her adopted sister Jinx. Now, let's get into it. Because Scarlet finally got in contact with her sister. Matter of fact, she was standing right in front of her, but they couldn't talk. This was an operation, and the Arashikage was all around them. So with sign language, Jinx told her to act like they never met. So Scarlet played it correct. Hey, I'm Scarlet, speaking in Japanese. Nice to meet you. And Jinx replied, I'm Jinx. Welcome. Let's get back to the group. And they ran off, realizing midway that their whole operation was a dud. The weapon they came here to find was no longer here. As soon as the force field dropped, the weapon itself went below ground, went to somewhere completely different. Storm Shadow, however, didn't come here to fail. He had a unit stationed ready to attack, and he led them himself. But while he did that, Jinx and Scarlet used their privacy to hold a conversation they long needed to hold. Grabbing a hold of her EMP device, she used it to spark and short-circuit every listening device in close proximity so they could talk, as Storm Shadow went to butcher. This version of Storm Shadow wasn't much different from his other versions. He was bloodlusted, and he was good with his blades. Very good, and he knew it. Taking down every single individual that crossed his path with no mercy. And while he did that, the conversation was happening in the background. Jinx was telling her sister everything, apologizing for ghosting her for so long, asking her why she came, making sure it was the G.I. Joe that made contact. And it was. Stalker reached out to Scarlet. But all that was cool. She was here for a reason. And Jinx knew this, taking the opportunity to feed her intel, classified intel she had managed to gather while inside the Arashikage. But it was still good to see her adopted sister. It's been a minute. Apologizing for not watering her plants, she offered, why don't we just leave? Why don't we just open the door right now while everyone is fighting and just walk away? Jinx, however, made it clear, as much as I want to do that, I have to be here. You see, something is brewing. And not just that, this weapon is dangerous. We can let it fall into the wrong hands. I feel scared every day, every night. I wish I could leave. But honestly, as much as I want to do the right thing, I do this very well. This is probably the one thing I am amazing at. I can't just walk away. And lastly, Cobra. I can't leave because of Cobra. Scarlet didn't know what Cobra was, so Jinx had to fill her in. It's a new superpower that's been rising, and she is pretty sure the Arashikage will have a role to play, so she has to be in the best position to help. This all made sense, but Scarlet didn't want her sister in danger. She couldn't stop her though, so they had to move forward with the mission. Get the weapon, keep it out of dangerous hands, keep it out of Cobra's hands. Which was gonna be a little bit easy, because right now Storm Shadow is on the wrong floor. She had figured out the weapon was going to go to the floor 48. So she and Jinx infiltrated this floor, and as soon as they were in the vents, they saw it. The mighty weapon everyone is fighting for. Jinx looks to her sister like, bruh, are you ready for this? And Scarlet was like, yeah. Both infiltrating, both sisters, both well trained by themselves. They knew each other like 5 and 6. And when they did battle, they did it together, laying cover and striking with their swords sharp and quickly. They were good. But so were the people protecting the weapons. They needed help. They were handling themselves pretty well. But as soon as Cobra's personal guards step in, yeah, it was time for support. They called to Storm Shadow, but this prick was watching from the shadows like a psycho. They were getting shot at, screaming his name. He didn't care. He just liked to observe. So finally Scarlet screamed, help, please. And he said, fine, jumping in, and 3 of them laid waste to every single person in this room that was a threat. It was like a goddamn symphony of swords and shurikens, and when they were done, he opened the weapon chest and he saw the mighty sword. And instinctively, Scarlet knew She knew deep down that she made a mistake. Storm Shadow is the worst possible person you want to give an almighty all-cutting blade to. This was a problem.